Okay, so this is my desk. This is where I do all of my swatches. I'm filming this on my vlog camera right now because this is obviously the camera that I usually do my videos with. Today I'm going to be working on the Colors to Carol neons. I did 2 of them last night, but I still have a few to do. So to start out here, desk-wise, I have 2 desk lamps with daylight bulbs in them. This one is just clipped to this shelf up here. The other one is actually not a desk lamp. It's a floor lamp. I really want to ditch the floor lamp because I have it set up on like a little platform thing that my husband built for me so that it can be like at the right level. But I would like to get another one of these and move my setup to kind of the middle of my desk so I'm not like way over on the edge, because the part where I actually like put my legs under is the other side. So anyway, so this, I have just 1 daylight bulb in one of these little things, and then all the rest of them I keep on just to kind of keep the daylight bulb from getting, I don't know, too, like making the picture too cool. These kind of help warm it up a little bit. So I have those, and then my camera, I use a Nikon D5100. I got a Nikon D60 or something like that for a graduation present when I was 18, and then when I started doing YouTube videos, I sold that and I bought one that filmed, or that did video, because the one that I had only took pictures. So that's what I use to take my pictures. This is not necessary. An iPhone takes pretty good pictures already. I just like to have everything on the same memory card for when I edit videos. So this is kind of from the outside looking in setup. I'm going to get you a little bit closer and show you like what I keep out here when I do my swatches, and then we'll actually flip to this camera a little bit so you can see how I like cuticle oil and stuff, and then we'll come back for the actual how I take the picture. Please excuse the pink walls in this room. I'm hoping to have this room painted in the next couple days so I can have a nice looking backdrop that's not that screen that I use, and like kind of a more like a permanent filming location. I just obviously am not going to film with pink walls in the background, except for today. So a few things that are very, very, very handy to have around when you're swatching. I always use non-acetone nail polish remover because it's the least drying on my nails. I just refill this Zoya Remove Plus pump with it. Obviously I have cotton balls, and I also keep toothpicks around because toothpicks can be really helpful when you want to pick out chunky glitter from a nail polish and show it in the swatch. If you can't get it out on its own, you can use a toothpick, toothpick to help get that stuff out. And then I also have my regular manicure stuff, cuticle oils and whatnot up there. I also always have the cuticle nippers because as you remove polish over and over and over again, you can start to have like little pieces of skin that will come up, and you can clip those off so they don't show up in the picture. I have a file in case I notice that things are crooked. I have these really needle pointy tweezers here. I use those if I get like a fuzzy on my polish while it's still wet, or a cat hair or something. I can try to pick it off with the tweezers, the part that's sticking up, so that I don't ruin the polish. And I also don't have the fuzzy in the picture, even though I do end up with fuzzies in my picture all the time. I keep my acetone around so I can clean up around my nails. I have right now 2 brushes that I use for cleanup. I have the Sonia Kashuk one that I don't really think is amazing, but I have it because they were sold out of my e.l.f. one, which is this one the last time I checked. I also have this really old e.l.f. one that I use to brush the cuticle oil on before I take my pictures. And then obviously a cuticle oil and a top coat for pictures that like really need the top coat. Micro glitters, things like that. You want to put the top coat on before you take the picture. They don't all need it, but some of them do, and you can tell which ones look dull. And then I also just keep my like 2 swatch pile over there. And then up here on this shelf I just have polishes that have been swatched, like the picture has been taken but the video still has to be done. This is just here because this didn't fit on the shelf tightly. And then also the towel that's down on my desk, I spilled acetone on a memory card, so now I always keep a towel there. Polishes that I have extra of, polishes that I'm like are currently involved in a giveaway, and then acetone, non-acetone, a couple different removers. I also always have a piece of paper right here. It protects my desktop, and then sometimes I'll like write notes on it. Like when I was doing the I Love Nail Polish multi-chromes, the multi-chrome flakies, they all kind of look the same after a little while, so I was writing down what order I was doing them in so I didn't like show a picture of the wrong one in the video. The other thing that I like to do is, I mean, this is good for setting toothpicks on. Like if you have to pick a polish out, the toothpick's wet, you can just set it on the paper. If you have a fuzzy on the brush of your polish, you can brush it off on your paper. I always like to keep the paper down. Now my desktop is white. If your desktop isn't white and you want to use a white backdrop, I used to get these like $1.50 foam board from Walmart, and then you could also use that like as the paper and as the white backdrop and just replace it when it gets too gross. Before I actually sit down to swatch, I will put some kind of cuticle product on, maybe not an oil, but something like a cream. I'm going to do the Lemony Flutter today, and I just put that on there and let it soak in for like a half an hour before I actually start my swatching. Also, my really goofy looking tripod here, it came with a light box that I got off of Amazon, and I never once used the light box, but that was just the tripod that came with it. And I find it really works well because you can actually like point the camera straight down if you want to. But I know you can also get attachments to regular tripods, like a desk tripod, that will also point the camera straight down. So you don't need to spend the money, like 35 bucks, on a light box that you'll never use for this like crappy little tripod. You can get attachments that will point the camera straight down as well. So I'm going to start with this orange here. I find that when I do my swatch pictures, it's easiest to go from lightest color to darkest color. I only do that, and then glitters last. Dark colors and glitters last. And I only do that because sometimes the darker color can stain the skin around your nails. So I don't want to do the blue and have the blue like stuck to the skin around my nails and then try to put like a yellow on and take the picture and have the blue really obviously there. So I always try to work from lightest color to darkest color because it makes the pictures turn out better in the end. So yeah, I'm going to pick up a polish, I'm going to paint my nails with it, and then I'll come back for how I take the pictures and how I get my hands kind of picture ready. So this polish dried matte, so I went ahead and put a top coat on it. What I do for my cuticle oil, this is the Essie Apricot Cuticle Oil. I like to just take this and get it all around the edge of the bottle so that I can just sit there with the bottle closed and grab the stuff that's on the edge with my brush. So I'll do one of these. This will usually last me like 2 or 3 swatch sessions if I get it really good. So when I close it, you can kind of see it's around the edge. Take my really old e.l.f. $1 concealer brush here, and basically I just go around where it's really dry. You can kind of see how dry it is. I shouldn't have used orange because it's way too bright. But I'll just go around the edge with the cuticle oil. Like that. I used to slather my nails with cuticle oil and then paint right over it, and it was a pain in the butt to get the polishes to apply right because they don't apply right going over oil, but I dealt with it. But I found that this actually works a lot better for me. Yeah, cuticle oil will hide like a multitude of sins. Dry spots, you know, like any like crusty skin on the outside. Then I'll just go around the edge, be really careful not to smudge the actual polish, and just rub it in a little bit. Yeah, I always do cuticle oil after every swatch because it just helps everything look so much nicer. Even if it does give that kind of like weird greasy look, I still think it looks nicer than letting them be dry. So I'll rub those all in. And like I said, I use pure acetone for the cleanup, so it makes it really, really dry. So I really need this to make it look decent. Another thing I was going to mention is I really don't wait for my coats to dry completely before I apply the next one, just enough that the next coat doesn't screw up the first. It's like if I put one coat on, I let it dry just enough that the second coat doesn't screw it up, and then I'm good to go because it really doesn't need to be completely dry if you're just going to take a picture of it. So I have this white piece of paper back here. All this does is just keep the pink from showing up in case I accidentally tilt my camera up a little too much. So what I do here is I put my camera about here. I don't know how well you can see the viewfinder, but I don't really zoom it in too far. I do that cropping after I get on the computer. I don't tilt the camera straight down. I just tilt it a little bit. I'll do this pose with my hand. This is how I do mine. I don't have like the most dainty flowing fingers ever, so I kind of have to hold them together with my thumb. I'll go ahead and do the pose that I want, and then I'll actually like take the bottle and kind of just slip it under there because I can't just grab the bottle and have it look nice. With my camera, I'll zoom in like really far, and I'll let it autofocus, and I want to make sure that my cuticles, like the skin on my cuticles, comes in focus really, really well. And then I've got the picture. So this one is going to be difficult because it's an orange. So I have to darken it up a little bit. This is just getting used to the camera settings. I shouldn't have picked an orange because these are like the hardest ones to take pictures of. I always make sure to take more than one. I'll take 2, 3, 4 or more just to make sure that they're in focus, because sometimes you can get them on the computer and then realize that they weren't in focus. I'll take a few just so that if one of them is messed up, I have some to fall back on. And because this is an orange, I'm going to take a few at different lighting, or like with my lighting settings a little bit different, so I can see which ones turn out more true to color. So now that I have those done, I take this polish off and I move on to the next one. So I'm going to take you into my living room and show you guys what I do with them on the computer to get the final pictures. So once I have my pictures up here, I'll just pick out which one is the clearest. I'm really glad I took more than one because apparently my camera wasn't focusing until the very last two. So this one looks like it's the clearest. So I go into edit it and I will crop it first. I crop it into a square because these all go onto Instagram. This is where it gets zoomed in. I crop it from cuticle to cuticle and like to keep a little bit of the bottle in there. Kind of try to center my nails in the middle. So I crop it into a square. Because my camera is, pretty high quality, it is really clear after it's zoomed in. But I try to take it a little bit farther away just so that I have more to work with. Sometimes I'll rotate it if my fingers aren't like even, but for the most part I just keep it this way. I'm going to lighten it up a little bit because I did have to go really dark to be able to capture the orange without the orange like just freaking out my camera. And I like this white in the background here to look a little bit more white. So I can lighten it up a little bit and then that's it. I will airdrop this to my phone. And then I have an app called I Watermark that I'll put my Just Face 90X watermark on it, and then I post it to Instagram from there. I keep all my swatches. I have them in albums over here. I just keep them so that if I ever talk about that polish in a video again, I don't have to re-swatch it. I can just grab it out of here. And I organize them just by brand, and then you can actually go in, like here's some Glitter Lambs ones. You can go in iPhoto anyway, and you can put in a description. So I put the polish name and the brand in there, and then they're organized by brand. So these are really old. You'll notice if you do it like, 4 or 5 months, they really do start to get a lot better after you get used to doing it. After you do it for 4 or 5 months, go back and look at some of your first ones, and they really do get a lot better. But yeah, that is my How I Swatch video. If you guys have any more questions, or I probably forgot to cover something, just let me know and I will get back to you. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.